Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Final Fantasy VII. And this time, it is time for the part of the Chocobo side quest. And this is actually being done post and not actually done live because I really don't feel like doing this live. Now, the thing is that when you end up leveling up, obviously mastering a materia, you basically manage to get double the, you end up getting a second materia alongside it. So I mastered both the two Chocobo lures that the game gives you, and I managed to get two other Chocobo lures, so it actually increases the encounter rate of the Chocobos. And I have to say that this actually takes a while because you need to go ahead and find a particular set of enemies to actually get the right Chocobo. As per usual, you can go ahead and look up a guide for this kind of stuff to try to pick which Chocobo type you need, or which Chocobo set of enemies that you want to spawn. Now, the ones that we got were like two Spincers or two little worm enemies. This one is basically going to be our good Chocobo. And now that we managed to get this said Chocobo, I don't know how many times I'm actually going to say Chocobo in the game, but, you know, in this part, it's probably going to be just me saying Chocobo like a bunch of times. But anyways, before I actually continue, my name has been changed to Code Pika. You're probably wondering why the hell is it that? And why the name change? Well, now it's just, you know, called CP, and, you know, it's a very simple name change. It's not too dramatic, but, I mean, a lot of people seem to enjoy it. Some people probably don't really enjoy it that much, but hey, it's fine. Anyways, we go back to the Chocobo farm, so we can actually go ahead and see the Chocobo that we managed to take back to the stable. Because now that we've managed to go ahead and get to the halfway point of disc 2, we can now go ahead and just, you know, rent our old Chocobos and actually raise them ourselves. But anyways, your goal here is to technically talk to Choco Billy here, and you want to go ahead and move your Chocobo into the stable. Now the thing is that this is RNG. You don't know whether your Chocobo is going to be a female or a male. If whatever reason, if you end up having a female Chocobo, obviously you want the other one to be the opposite sex, so that way you don't have to really worry about, you know, the breeding process, because you can't breed with two girls and you can't breed with two guys. I'm sorry, not animals just don't work that way. Humans can, not so much animals though. But anyways, we got ourselves a male Chocobo. So next, we need to go ahead and find ourselves a female Chocobo. And the area that we're going to is Midel, because there are actually Chocobos tracks here. I do cut out our encounters with these Chocobos, because to be perfectly honest, it does take a bit for us to actually encounter them. So, yeah, I mean, nobody really wants to deal with this, and it really does take forever. So, anyways, cutting past, we end up finding the set that we need, and it ends up having these two enemies, these roly-poly armadillo-looking mofos. Essentially, if you are finding these type of enemies, like the type of enemies that you're supposed to be looking for, you can find one with two or one with one. So it doesn't really matter. It just has to be these particular enemies. So it could be a set with just one of them or a set with just two. The encounter sets will always be two or one of that particular enemy, so you don't really have to worry so much. So anyways, we got this Chocobo, so now we're going to take it back to the stable and, you know, lather, repeat. I end up cutting back our backtracking because there's really no point in me showcasing that. You guys already know how it goes. So anyways, as per usual, be sure to save though, because you never know if the Chocobo would be the same gender, and you don't want that. So save just in case, because you can manipulate, well, kind of manipulate the gender of the Chocobo. And this is a great Chocobo. This Chocobo is going to be female. So that's actually good for us. I actually got this on the first try, so actually I didn't have to cut this out. But the other part I do have to cut out, because it does take a bit for me to actually get the proper genders for the two Chocobos that I need, since those two are pretty randomized now that I think about it. Anyways, Once you have gotten your 2 sets of Chocobos, what you want to do is you want to feed them 10 Silcus Greens. Well, actually, no. These guys, you actually want to feed them 5. And the other 2 that you're going to get, you want to feed them 10. The reason for this is because the Silcus Greens has the capabilities of increasing their stats. And the Silcus Greens being the best of the greens, which you can only get at the Chocobo Sage, which for, a whopping 5,000 Gull, you can basically go ahead and, increase their stats to be good at Chocobo races, because it's not just the fact that you have to go ahead and just get 2 Chocobos that are 2 opposite genders and also feed them Silcus Greens. No, you also have to raise their class level. I don't know what their class level has to do with anything. I'm assuming that the class level probably has to go ahead and deal with the fact that when their class is at a particular level, they can be able to breed. I don't freaking know. All I know is that you have to go ahead and do this for every single Chocobo, except for the last one, obviously, to be able to go ahead and get the proper Chocobo that you need. I'm not entirely sure if you can get a red Chocobo or a purple Chocobo or a full blue Chocobo, but I doubt it. But anyways, you come back here, talk to Esther. She ends up saying, oh, everything's going on, I'm a little lonely, yada yada yada. She basically ends up saying, hey, you got your own Chocobos, why don't you ride them? So you go ahead and register your Chocobos, end up doing the Chocobo race, and badabushki, you gotta win 3 races. You can't lose the races, because if you lose the race, well, yeah, you lose. Also, for the love of God, don't do long, or else you're gonna be here for a very long time. It doesn't matter if you do short or long, you still have to win 3 races to actually increase their rank. But anyways, after 3 races for each of our Chocobos, because I'm telling you, I don't want to showcase that. I will showcase the Chocobo race in the next episode with the golden Chocobo at max stat and show you how badass it actually is. But until then, after you've done 3 races with said Chocobos, with the 2 Chocobos, you want to mate with them. Now, this is kind of the process that is a bit difficult. The first Chocobo that you're gonna get, it can be a green one or a blue one. It can be a male or it can be a female. I don't know what the hell is wrong with this game. The game has an issue of making I think it's the green one for some reason constantly male, because here's the thing about the RNG factor of this gender color thing. It has a chance of making the green one stuck on male and not actually moving. And when that happens, that's actually kind of bad. So see, we have ourselves a female blue Chocobo. Now we're going to keep this one because the thing is that we constantly had to keep doing this over and over. Now you're probably wondering, that's not a blue Chocobo, that's a green one. Well, you see, I kind of cut past because it was actually very annoying. The green one is male and the blue one is female, because the problem is that the green one constantly kept being male up until a certain point where the green one actually became female, so I got annoyed. So since the blue one was always going to be female, I decided to say, you know what, let me just go with the blue one, and then the green one will constantly keep being male, so I just said let's go with the male one. Obviously, now we're done. So what you want to do is go back to go buy Silcus Greens, except this time you want to feed 10 Silcus Greens to both the green and the blue Chocobo, so that their stats can be a very good amount, so that way they can go ahead and, they can start racing, because you have to breed with those 2 as well. I know what you're thinking. Aren't you technically breeding brother and sister? Don't think too hard on that. It's kind of... If you think on that with that kind of logic, then yes, it's probably really weird. But anyways, you want to go back to the Chocobo race, and this time you want to instead of getting them to class B like you did with the other 2 Chocobos, you kind of want to get them in class A. And to get them in class A, you have to win 6 races. So yay, 6 races for 2 of each. So you do the math. Anyways, end up letting them both breed, give them a carbo nut, which as always you do need 3 to be able to actually warrant any sort of progression with the thing. And yeah, so anyways, After you end up breeding them, you manage to get yourself a black Chocobo. It doesn't really matter. It can be male or female. Just be sure that the one that you're going to get, that's the great one or wonderful or whichever one I'm going after, which is in the snowy field, is going to be the female. Also, Cloud misses this bunny. I don't know why. He actually made me freak the hell out when he missed. And I was like, are you serious, dude? Alright, whatever. Anyways. Once you've gotten that Chocobo, you want to take it back to the farm. Make sure that it's female or male, depending on the gender of your black Chocobo. And then you want to breed those two. Except, well, not really. You kind of want to go ahead and race them again, doing 6 to get them to Class A again. And then after that, you come back here again to do the same crap, and it's so annoying. I got lucky that this one was actually a female one because I was actually gonna be angry if it wasn't. But no, now that you managed to go ahead, you have to go ahead and feed them 10 Soaker's Greens again, so you have to go back to the Chocobo Sage, and you do have to get rid of one of your Chocobos because, like, as always, this does consist of using 6, and this is the kind of the reason as to why you need to have 6 stables open, because if you don't, then, well, you kind of run into a problem. You kind of don't really want that. So what you should do is basically just get rid of the 2 good and great Chocobos, because you don't need them anymore. You really don't. They're gonna go out in the wild. It might get eaten by the snake. I don't really know. Or who knows? They might just go ahead and graze on grass or something. I don't freaking know. But anyways, once you got rid of both of them, go back to the Chocobo Sage, and you want to come back and end up feeding 10 Chocobo 10 Soaker's Greens to both the black and the wonderful Chocobo. After you've done that, you want to go back to the races, do the total of 6 for each of them, and then you want to come back, and then you want to breed with the 2 Chocobos. Now the thing is, when I actually breed with the wonderful and the black Chocobo, you will get a black Chocobo at random, because there is still a random chance that you won't actually get a golden Chocobo. So you still have that RNG in you, which sucks. Usually it always takes like 1 reset to actually get the Chocobo that you need. But yeah, this is the condensed version of the Chocobo side quest. You want to know how long this actually took me? This took me like an hour and 15 minutes to do. The reason for this is that if it probably would have taken a bit longer if I was not playing off of the PS4 version, because without that speed up function, the Chocobo races take forever. Oh yeah, and also when you're breeding with the 2 Chocobos, you do want to give them the Zionut, because the Zionut basically will allow them to breed the golden Chocobo, or a black Chocobo if you're unlucky. But no, I managed to cut that part and actually got in our golden Chocobo. He might not look gold, and I don't blame you for thinking that he doesn't, but trust me, he's gold. Trust me, he is. And anyways, I'm trying to figure out what to actually call this Chocobo. I wanted to call him a stupid name, but then I was like, you know what? We're just going to call him a Final Fantasy V Chocobo name, because I actually like that Chocobo, even though he actually doesn't really do as much. I mean, he does enough, but, you know. So, Boko. I was gonna call him Butt, but then, or I was gonna call him Butt Nerd on my live stream, where I named one of my horse Butt Nerd and didn't really do nothing with him. So no, I decided to call him Boko. Because why not? Boko is a cool name. And that's our golden Chocobo. That is the end of the Chocobo breeding side quest, or I like to call the condensed version. You don't have to do this, but the only reason you would ever do this is to basically go ahead and get the last few items. You want to just go out of your way just to get the golden Chocobo, so you don't have to actually worry so much about it. But that's it. That is the golden Chocobo. We are done. That is the end of the side quest. And to be honest, it's a pain in the ass, but it is worth it to have this golden Chocobo. You don't even get a trophy for it. It sucks, but whatever. Anyways, guys, that is the end of this episode. I've been Code Pika, and I will see you guys in the next electrifying part of Final Fantasy VII. See yas!